4 seconds to play in the fourth quarter. 29-21 is the Eastbrook lead. Here's the snap. Howe fires, caught, lateral back, caught here by Slater. Slater gets it behind him. Now back here to Howe. Howe picks it up, runs the other way. Bodie Howe directing traffic. Bodie Howe still on his feet. He'll tuck it and run down the sideline. Bodie Howe, he's got room. Bodie Howe cuts it back. He's got room. Bodie Howe still on his feet. Oh my gosh! Bodie Howe down the sideline. Oh my God! Bodie Howe! Unbelievable! Unbelievable! There is a flag. There is a flag. There is a flag. Hang on. So they're going to give Eastbrook an untimed down. Eastbrook will have another chance. Can they do it again? Howe takes the snap. He'll drop back. Howe, he's got time. Howe steps up in the pocket. Heaves it downfield to the end zone.
Got him, man.
He got it!
He caught it!
Touchdown! Oh my gosh! On an on-time down, Eastbrook heaves it downfield. They did it again.
Bodie Howe.
27. Unbelievable.
He knew he was going to get hit. He heaved it to the end zone, and Matthew Slater somehow got behind all the Alexander defenders.
I cannot believe what I just saw. Eastbrook's going to go for two. Howe under center, takes the snap. He'll look to throw. Howe scrambles, end zone.
He got it! He got it! We're going extra
Oh my
time!
gosh! Free football! Unbelievable! We're going to overtime! 36-35. This is the ball game right here. Howe looking for the end zone. Did he get there? He did! Eastbrook! Unbelievable! Back from the dead!
Bodie Howe will not be denied, Grant.
The Eastbrook Panthers, shock and awe! The Panthers stun Alexandria in the sectional!
So we've been wondering what to do on Friday nights after football. All we really have time for is the scores. So what we've decided is to also do a reaction podcast later in the week. And here it is. Here is Grant Shouse after his call on Friday night of the crazy finish at Alexandria. And then we're joined by Michelle Garmon of the Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader to talk about Tipton's win over Wabash. Thanks so much to Grant and Michelle and the Action Sports Network for allowing us to use their audio. Welcome back, high school football fans, to part 2 of the Central Indiana Sports Report's Scoreboard Show. And we have with us Grant Shouse of the Action Sports Network. Grant is our IU guy, and we were just doing the IU report, and his partner, Mike Hutzel, said to him, no matter how long you do this job, you'll probably never do a crazier game than you did on Friday night. Eastbrook 37-36 in overtime over Alexandria. Heard Grant's call. It was baffling just how crazy that finish was. I've never seen anything like it in my 50 years. Grant, tell us about it.
Yeah. I mean, you got 30 more years on me, and you've never seen anything like it. I've, of course, never seen anything like it. You know, it just, the only word to describe it was unbelievable, right? The season for Eastbrook was over. It was over.
I asked Jeff Adamson if he was making plans for the offseason.
What'd he say?
No.
Of course
He said they were calling timeouts because they believed they could still do it late in the game. But I didn't think so. If I was a coach, I would have been thinking about the offseason.
I felt bad for Eastbrook. I love Jeff Adamson, one of my favorite people to interact with. He's always been gracious, always been kind to me. And I've had a real fun time working with him. So I was a little disappointed for them when it looked like Alexandria was going to win the game. Alexandria turns it over on downs with 4 seconds to go. Eastbrook's got to run it was 4 seconds because it was fourth down and 8.
Okay.
4 seconds ago. Eastbrook's got one play. We said, well, Alexandria's going to win the ball game right here. Eastbrook's going to need a miracle. And that miracle came from the hands and the legs of number
3 of
15.
them.
Yeah.
There were 3 miracles.
Bodie Howe. Bodie freaking Howe, man.
Was part of all 3.
This is a kid that Jeff Adamson told us a while back, a few years ago, that when it's all said and done, he would be one of the top 5 greatest players to ever come through the program. And he put that on display last night. He got dinged up earlier in the game. I don't know if Coach Adamson told you that. He got dinged up earlier in the game and came out of the game for a play. Actually, he came out for one single snap in the second half. He came back in. They run the lateral play. Eastbrook, we can probably admit this now. Everybody's seen the video. Got away with an illegal forwards pass. At least it's what it looked like. You're not on the field, so you can't really tell. They lateral the ball. It gets back to Bodie Howe. It actually lands on the ground. Bodie Howe has to pick it up off the ground, and he starts running. As he starts running, guys are chasing him. Like, they'll get him here. I'm thinking in my head, they'll get him here.
Yeah.
Then he cuts back upfield. I'm like, okay, they'll get him here. There's like a bunch of guys there. They'll get him here.
At least 6 chances.
Then he keeps going, and I'm like, okay, they got him right here because he literally was getting tackled. Breaks out of the tackle. Once he broke out of that tackle, gone. We are in utter disbelief. We are screaming at the top of our lungs, as you heard there on our call. You have 2 guys talking over each other. It may not sound the greatest. When I listened to it last night, I was particularly proud of it. It was good.
It would be hard. It would be hard to collect yourself in that moment.
It captured what was going on, I think.
Exactly.
People who are driving in a car and can't see it or listening wherever, you can't see it, but our reaction describes it. So at this point, Bodie Howe's in the end zone. We're going bonkers. I look, there's a yellow hanky laying on the field. And you're like, there's no way this is on Alexandria. This has got to be on Eastbrook. Eastbrook gets called for an illegal block in the back. Here's where people get confused. Alexandria had to accept the penalty. They had to accept it. If they decline it, Eastbrook scores a touchdown right there.
Right.
In your head, you're thinking, okay, we took it away from him. We just got to get one stop. We got to get one stop. Let's get one stop here. Alexandria accepts the penalty. Well, there's no time on the clock. Eastbrook got one untimed down. People are just all up in arms, and understandable if you don't know the rule and you're confused. I'm not gonna lie, we were confused. We were no question confused about it. And they end up, Bodie Howe takes the snap. I'll never forget it. He drops back, and it looks like he high-fives a teammate when he drops back. You can see it on the video. And he just lets it rip downfield. And I'm watching that ball. It's like it's sailing in slow motion. And Matt Slater gets under it like he's catching a fly ball in center field. And he kind of has to lean forward for it, and he caught it. Well, we're going bonkers again. Unbelievable. So now you're like, well, they're down 29-27. Got to go for 2. When in doubt, Bodie Howe goes for 2. Finds Miles Brown in the end zone. We're going to overtime. Alexandria ends up scoring on the first play from overtime. A little reverse pass. Mason Fuller runs it in for the touchdown. They get the extra point. Eastbrook comes down, runs a couple plays. 36-35 after they scored a touchdown. And they stayed out there for 2. I like the call from Coach Adamson. He told us up in the booth after the game that they had to, they felt like they had to go for 2. They had too many guys going both ways. Felt like they were going to get tired defensively the way Alexandria's offense was moving. And they went for 2. Bodie Howe kept it, tucked it in, ran it in. Ball game. A stunner. Think about it, Greg. Eastbrook scored 16 points with no time on the clock last night. Unreal.
16
Never been
points
done.
with no time on the clock. Unbelievable.
Never been done.
Only a Jeff Adamson team, right?
Only a Jeff Adamson team. And he told us, I said, there's no way you've had a lateral play work like that. And Jeff Adamson fashion, he pulled out the exact game that it did almost work one time back in 2012 against Madison Grant. So, just
You can
awesome.
you can never expect that to work, but at least you give your kids a chance. That's the
Right.
I,
And Bodie Howell told me after the game, we were talking off the record, and he told me that they work on that lateral situation every Thursday in practice. They do it once or twice every Thursday in practice, and
and now they got Rochester. Going to be tough, and if they win that, either Eastern or Tipton, going to be a very difficult road for Eastbrook. They're probably the favorites, but that's a tough sectional.
Rochester's going to be tough. That's going to be really
awesome.
tough. That's going to be another grinded out game, just like how Friday night was.
I like the Panthers' chances.
I
Let's
do
look
too.
at sectional 28 real fast. Mrs. Cinewall, ranked 6th, gets a win over your alma mater, Oak Hill, second time this year. Speaking of great defenses, Mrs. Cinewall's got a chance to make quite a run in with that defense.
Absolutely. Their defense is incredible.
And Madison Grant is eliminated, so we're down to 2 Grant County teams. Grant, your thoughts?
Great year for Grant County. Oak Hill has, I think, exceeded expectations. Eastbrook, of course, 10-0 now. Mrs. Cinewall's doing what they do. Madison Grant kind of fell off towards the end. Of course, they played a weaker schedule and beat weaker opponents, and that's not going to prepare you for the tournament. And it showed. Give them credit. They hung in there with South Adams, it looked like, from the scores. And good season for Grant County football. Marion hung around with Muncie Central for a little bit on Friday, and sad to see it come to an end for some of these teams, but I think we have the 2 best teams in the county that are still going to be playing.
Grant Shouse, appreciate it as always. We'll catch up
Thanks,
soon.
man.
And now we welcome in Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader sports editor Michelle Garmon, who covered Tipton's 48-13 win over Wabash on Friday. Michelle, give us some details.
Tipton just they came out and they were impressive. They dominated. Sophomore quarterback Quinn Toll was 10 of 11 for 262 yards and 2 touchdowns. Blue Devils ran the ball well. Zane Durham had a couple touchdown runs, I believe, and they were just Tipton was very balanced, offensively and defensively, off passing and running on the offense, and then defensively, they only had one busted play where Wabash completed the long pass. But other than that, the defense was really stout. Wabash's second touchdown came with less than around a minute to go in the game, and it was against Tipton's freshman. Coach Toll put in, I think, the second strings, third string players played almost the entire second half because the second half was all played under a running clock. Aaron was happy with what he saw. He was really happy too because they were able to get out of the game injury free, which is what's kind of nice with the running clock. If you can get that lead, then you don't have to play some of your important kids. Aaron was also pretty happy because he only had 6 kids that he started 2 ways last night. Their numbers were a little bit, that's fewer. I think at one point they were up to 8 or 9. That made it nice. Wabash is not as good as Eastern, but the nice thing for Tipton is they are primarily a passing team, spread. Quarterback's got a good arm. They won't have to make big adjustments in like their scheme or their defensive formations. I thought the Blue Devils were very, very efficient, took care of business last night, and I think they're looking forward to getting to go over and play Eastern. Last week or
The
last
team that
year.
eliminated them last year.
Yeah, and then last year, and it's like Aaron was talking about after the game, he said there was that crazy 5 minutes in the second quarter where Tipton's going down and they're going to score, and there's that fumble, and then they pick it up, and then Eastern gets touchdown, and they go in with a lead at halftime where Tipton could have been up like 2 scores at halftime. And then Tipton's defense had done a nice job of containing Eastern's running game, the big running back, until the fourth quarter. The Blue Devils will be excited. They want to do better than they did a year ago. They're aware that Eastern has got some very good weapons. And, Comets will be confident because they are the defending sectional champions, and they'll be excited to be at home. So Tipton will be focused in. I know Aaron's going to be excited because fall break's behind him. So it'll be back to school as usual, and everybody will be back to a normal routine.
And another team in the sectional on the other side of the bracket, maybe the wildest game you'll ever see. Eastbrook. It's just a crazy game. We already talked to Grant Shouse about it. Michelle, your reaction to that game, that finish in particular?
I was paying attention to it in the second half. I was listening to Grant. So I went in and got their link. So I was listening to Grant and Kevin do the game. And then I had to stop it for a few minutes because I had to go down and interview Aaron and everything after the game. And then Aaron and I were talking, and somebody texted him and sent him the message that Eastbrook ended up winning in overtime. And the reason I picked Eastbrook to win that sectional is because I said they had the most dynamic player in it. The biggest game changer, because he's a threat whenever he gets his hands on the ball, whether it's he has his hands on the ball all the time on offense because he's quarterback. Defense, he plays in the backfield, and then he's a special teams guy. And Bodie Howe, he made things happen. My heart breaks for Alexandria, but by golly, 2 big plays. I mean, you stopped in the entire second half until those final 2 plays. That's a game that's going to live with Ellick for a while. And, thinking over and over in their heads. And then give Adamson credit. He decides to go for the win. Ellick scores, kicks the PAT, first in overtime. And then Eastbrook scores, and Adamson says, we're going for the win right here. But I think I would too if I had Bodie Howe at quarterback, and if I completed an 8-yard 2-point conversion to send the game into overtime. I think I'm going to trust that I can get another 2-point conversion in that situation. Yeah. For Eastbrook, they'll have to go to Rochester next week, and it'll be interesting to see, how they handle week 2, because that was such an emotional game last night. Week 2 sometimes can be hard anyway to get up for, because week 1 you're playing because it's the beginning of the sectional. Week 3 you're playing for a championship. Week 2, I think, unless it's like in Tipton's case where they're going to Eastern, and they're going to get up for it because it's kind of like an avenge last year's championship game. So it will be interesting to see how Eastbrook comes back and then has to make that trip to Rochester and comes out and plays.
Michelle Garmon of the Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it as always.
Hey, you're welcome.
Michelle and I will be back on Thursday to preview and predict all of Central Indiana's sectional semifinal game. Then on Friday night, I will go through all the scores and highlights from around Central Indiana and the best games around the state. And on Saturday, we will do the scoreboard all again. Please join us. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.